Shalom, my friend.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. How are
What?
you?
Oh, I'm blessed. Just here, we're just starting the day. It's 9:45 a.m. and you're at the end of towards the end of your day. What time is it there?
5:45 p.m.
Oh, you got a ways to go yet, though. So
Yeah. I
yeah, I
got to
see
have
that.
I have a 9 p.m. meeting with my wife and the rabbi of the community. And until then, I actually have another Zoom meeting just after hours. It's going to be a short call today. And after that, I'll do a little prayer and maybe some Torah study. A normal day.
What a day! What a life! That's
Well,
beautiful, and I'm so excited that you're in the land.
yes.
It's
Well, they're starting to open up the land here as far as COVID restrictions are concerned. I just read that they're not going to require a test either before getting on the plane or getting off the plane when you come here.
well, I just saw a little updated video from one of our dear friends who leads tours in Israel, and she has the Mike Huckabee tour over there,
What's her
and
name?
she was showing us some a 1 minute video. She was getting ready for the Galilee tour, and they had a storm in the Galilee apparently yesterday, and so that always reminds us of the story in the Jesus story, the storm on the Sea of Galilee.
Put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters.
Even the winds and the sea obey him, you know. So we had a kind of a mini storm like that experience few years back when we were in Israel, and we were actually on our boat ride on the Sea of Galilee, and we had all of a sudden one of these suddenlies of life, a sudden storm on the boat on the Sea of Galilee, and it was raining so hard that the we had to pull the side awnings down to keep the hard rain from coming in on all of us on the little boat, and it gave us a little small taste of having a sudden storm on the Sea of Galilee. So that was quite an experience for us, and it was so interesting. I was teaching and reading the scriptures on that very story of the sudden storm on the Sea of Galilee in the life of Jesus and his disciples. I'm reading that from my Bible, that very moment when this storm comes to us in a much smaller way, of course, but we'd never been on a storm on the Sea of Galilee in our little boat before. And so
Of course.
that was a wonderful experience for us.
So you're basically saying that when you come to Israel, you have the opportunity not only to read the Bible with your eyes, but to read it with your entire body.
You can experience the Bible, absolutely. And this is such a blessing for Christians. People will ask sometimes over the years, what can they do for Israel? And I say the best thing you can do is go to the land yourself, because we live in a great big country over here, and people don't have a concept of how small Israel is.
That's right.
It's about the size of Rhode Island. Now, Peggy and I live in the Houston area. We don't live in Houston right now, but Harris County is the county that Houston is in, and Harris County is bigger than Israel, I think.
I don't know about that.
No. In certain parts, it takes it's. I have no idea how big Harris County is, but it is. you can put almost 40 Israels in Texas. And so
Okay, now
Israel,
whenever anybody starts talking about geography and stuff like that, I got to look up Wikipedia. So you keep
well,
talking,
no,
and meanwhile,
that's fine, but you can look it up. But I know I've looked into it, and in certain parts of Israel, it's so small you can see the whole land from,
of
you
course,
know.
of course, of course.
So anyway, people don't realize how small the country is, and so this helps them get a perspective of the land. And the Christian people, they read these stories about Jesus, but to be there and see the places, as you well know, makes them come alive in a visual way for them. So it takes it out of the pages of the Bible and makes it a picture book for them. So this is very important. Every Christian should go to Israel and see the land for themselves, not only the land, but meet wonderful people like yourself, meet the Israeli people, give them big hugs, and tell them how much you love them and that you stand with them and support them. Get involved with the people, with the culture, with the humanitarian aid needs. Speaking, I've been so blessed to do that over the years,
It's true.
in the humanitarian aid area. So this is what being a Christian is to me. It's not only having a intellectual awareness that you said Jesus is your Savior and Lord, but
Yes.
you have to live that out in your everyday life. And the good book says the greatest of all commandments is love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Okay.
So it's not all about having all the I's and T's crossed and dotted exactly, but living it out in your everyday life as imperfectly as we do that. At least there should be that should be our goal in life.
And if you come to Israel, then you have a whole that then it's like shaking up the that little glass with the snow thing. You shake it up and you see things differently.
Oh, absolutely. And
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of those details that you mentioned. Here's Israel in Wikipedia. I'm never sure exactly what they mean as far as the area is concerned, but let's say the area of Israel is 8,000 square miles. It's between 8,500 square miles. Harris County is only 1,700 or so square miles. So Harris County is about one third, I think, maybe, or one quarter, or even no, one eighth, whatever. It's smaller. What it doesn't have here is the greatest width, and here it's like this is the shape, as of course Israel is more like top to bottom, but Texas altogether is 268,000 square miles.
Oh my goodness.
268,000 square miles. Once again, Israel is 20,000. So it's about 15 Israels go into one Texas. Does that sound right to you?
Depends on where you put the milestone markers, I guess.
But it really doesn't matter how many Israels fit into Texas. It's how many Israels fit into the hearts of Texans.
Well, there you go. I like that. Deep in the heart of Texas.
So, sir, how many Israels can fit into your heart as a Texan?
The whole country.
Only one.
Only one. From Dan to Beersheba. How you like that?
Let me write that down. That's a good one. many times Israel fits into Texas. It matters how many Israels fit into the heart
That's very good.
of every Texan.
Very good. I won't co-author credit for that, you know.
I'm going to start my Arielisms list.
I know. That's very good. So yeah, Israel is back open for tourists now, and we encourage everyone who can to make the pilgrimage.
And people who do come here, please, please, please try to reach out to me. I'd love to meet with you. I will come to Jerusalem. I will encourage you to come to Hebron or to Gush Etzion, and I'll be happy to guide you in Hebron and in the cave of the patriarchs, where Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, and Leah are buried.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, really is, truly. Today I was actually just at a circumcision. I think that we get those a lot around here because we have a lot of little kids. But hold on 1 second, just 1 second. אני באמצע שיחה חשובה. Okay.
I was afraid you were going to show us the circumcision for a minute. I said, "Oh no, don't do that."
Don't worry. I was just saying that circumcision ceremonies, Brit Milah, are a very emotional and important thing always, but especially here in Hebron, because this is where the first circumcision ceremony was held, here in Hebron. And that is where, I'm actually going to have to check that for sure, but I think it is. And even if it wasn't the first place that it was held, it is the place that the first circumcised people lay and still are. They don't live anymore, but they continue to be. And when we say, God, we are fulfilling your commandment, we are fulfilling our side of the covenant, it's because of him, Abraham and Isaac, who are buried right here. And that is the way that we do the ceremony in the cave of the patriarchs so frequently.
It's pretty amazing. It's a testimony to the covenant faithfulness of God that you're there.
Absolutely.
And anyone who can't understand that needs counseling.
And people who can understand it certainly need counseling. Anyway, everybody would do good to be counseled and to give counsel. That's what we're here for, to be in contact with each other. As you said before in today's call, the greatest commandments are love your neighbor and love the Lord your God. So we must take counsel in God. I think that the Bible even talks about Avi ad sar shalom pele yoetz, a wonderful counselor or something like that, is what Isaiah's son's name was. And when we love each other, then we reach out to each other both to take counsel and to give counsel.
That's a true statement.
I'm just now trying to figure out something as far as my website is concerned about Root Source. And so I have an advisory board of about a dozen friends, and from time to time I discuss certain concepts, certain ideas that I'm thinking about, and I get good counsel.
Well, we all need somebody we can use as a sounding board. It's usually your wife or your husband, your spouse.
That's right.
You know? And if it doesn't pass that test, forget it.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
So the good book says, how can two walk together unless they're in agreement?
Well, the question is, what does that agreement mean? And how long does it take to get to agreement? Does that mean, yes, dear, I only need 2 words in my vocabulary? Or do you sometimes have to walk? And when you walk, you sometimes kick up some dust, but ultimately you come to agreement. The phrase that you just mentioned, the verse that you just mentioned, Hayilchu shnaim yachtav. Let me find that verse again. 1 second. Let me try to find that in Amos 3:3. 1 second.
It sounds about right.
1 second. This is what I like to do is Bible Hub, right? Bible Hub. No, that ain't working. 1 second. Here we go.
There you go. What? Unless they have agreed. That doesn't make any sense.
What?
Unless they agree to meet. I didn't quite understand that.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because
which version are we looking at here?
I'm right now looking at. Do you see the screen? Let me reshare the screen a second.
Oh, I see it. I saw it.
We have a little delay here.
Okay.
I'm looking at Bible Hub, which lists how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 20 or 30 translations just on one page.
You got the Aramaic in there, don't you?
I only see English.
Okay.
But what I see here is that here's the word agree. Let's find the word agree. This is Hebrew. 1 second. Okay, so a lot of the translations have the word agree in it, right?
Okay, yeah, wait, you're going too fast. Go back up. I think I saw the Aramaic in there somewhere.
You're asking for Aramaic?
Go down.
Here's Aramaic.
Yeah, there's
the Aramaic Bible in plain English.
Yeah, I thought I saw it there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it still goes more or less the same as the rest.
No, I understand.
So as you can see, the last word in Hebrew is no adu. It has agree a few times, and it has meet. Let's see how many times meet. Meet has 5 times or 8 times. And we said the agreement has 25 times. And met has 8 times also. So it's about half of them agree and half of them meet.
Do you have the amplified version on there? That would be interesting.
Yes, it says, do 2 men work together unless they have made an appointment?
Okay, that's strange. Okay.
Look, right. I like the Hebrew. First of all, the Hebrew says, Hayilchu shnayim. Let's look it up in Sefaria. One second. This is Wikipedia. Where is Sefaria? Here we are. Just 1 second. It's not the best translation. 1 second. Let me give you a little English and Hebrew here at the same time. So that's not going to work. 1 second.
Do you have the Texas version?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
The Texas version.
Should be Amos 3:3. Here we go. And we see it now in English and in Hebrew, where they have a specific translation, of course. Will 2, and let me first try to translate myself. Can 2 together go on without them? It says here without having met. So we've seen met, we've seen appointment, right? Remember that. Met or meet and appointment. All 25 or so of these translations agree that it's either that word or the other. Now here's the deal. what do you call the tent or the place that Moses built where he would go and be with God in the desert?
Well, of course, the tabernacle.
You call it the tabernacle. So in the original Hebrew, it's called the Ohel Moed. Moed. You probably know the word Moed.
The tent of meeting.
So that's the way they translate it. But the fact, and what do you call the festivals? You call them a festival, but have you ever heard of the phrase Chol HaMoed or Moadim?
Of course.
Of course. So it's the same word. And really, it is related also, I think, to the word witness, an aid. And nowadays, modern Hebrew also has a very important word, a va'ad, which is a committee. So all of these words are related, and they're all related to that word in Hebrew, noadu, the root of the word noadu. Let's see if we can find, what's his name? Strong's. Strong's, we get that here somewhere.
Yeah, he's in there, so I saw him somewhere.
Here we are. Noadu, Strong's. To fix upon, to meet, to summon, to direct, to engage. I like engage. He calls it yad. I would call it van. I'm not so sure. Yada, yada.
Yeah.
B'noati ivaed, b'noati. It doesn't have moed here, so let me see if I can keep on finding it here. Here we go. Moadim. Interesting. It doesn't find the word oil moed. So let me try to find that quickly. Oh boy, I'm really giving you the runaround over here. 1 second. Here we go. Petach Moed, for example, is in Exodus 29:42. 1 second. Exodus 29:42. I got to look it up here too, though. 1 second. And 1 second.
Let's see.
Exodus 29. Here. A regular at the entrance of the tent of meeting is how he translates it here. And this guy, at the entrance to the tent of meeting. So let's see that word meeting. Let's see if everybody calls it meeting. Here, they call it tabernacle. Oops, that's in Hebrew. 1 second. Here's tabernacle, tabernacle, tabernacle. 11 out of probably 25. 32. So most people translate that as the tent of meeting. But let's see what Strong calls it. Where's Strong's? Hello, where are you, Mr. Strong? Down here at the bottom? Yeah, here it comes. Tamid Petach Oil Moed. So he calls it 4150 as opposed to 3259. You see what's going on over here? This word, he calls it ya'ad, and this word, he calls it mo'ed. Two different words, but I'm telling you, they're the same word. Very interesting. Anyway.
So what is our point?
Yeah, so you've just seen how I like studying the Bible. I get on a Bronco in the Bible and it throws me all over the place. The point is always going to be, you have to know Hebrew in order to really understand the Bible, because I haven't even gotten to the point of the question yet. But I have come to the point to show you that a translation is not good enough. You gotta get to the Hebrew, which is why I encourage people to learn Hebrew.
Of course.
But I also want to say that English or a translation is not good enough, but it's much better than nothing.
Very good. Very good. But so my question is, what are we supposed to learn from that scripture?
Okay, so I think that we have to, if you're talking about the scripture of can two go together unless they have given it some thought or conspired, perhaps. I didn't see that translation at all. But I really think that is the truth of that they get together in order to think about what they're going to do. Did any people start walking a path of a plan if they didn't plan together beforehand?
So is the word unity here anywhere?
The word unity does not appear. Just 1 second. Let me go back to the screen here.
Well, I don't mean literally. I mean, what is the personal relationship result here? People should be able to agree with a course of action. That's where I'm trying to get to.
Look, this is a pretty famous verse. One of the reasons that it's a famous verse, besides it being relatively simple, or so it seems at face value, and short, it is a verse that appears in the Haftorah, in one of the weekly prophetic readings that we read every week in the synagogue. So you hear it sometimes. But I think you have to take it in its context. And for here, it's a little bit difficult to take it into context because we only have about 3 minutes left. But it's clear to me, it seems, that the context here is not just this verse. This verse, as you can see, ends with a question mark, right?
Right.
And even though this verse starts with the word can, and this word starts with the word does, and so does this one. But all of these verses start with the letter Hey, which is, the question is, could it possibly be? So you have one letter and you have 4 long words. Could it possibly be? Could it possibly be? So I think that we have to look at all 4 or so of these verses together, and even that won't be enough. Can 2 go together if they have not planned to do so beforehand? Can a lion or would a lion roar in the forest, and he doesn't, and he does not have his prey that he's I believe that he's already conquered, preyed upon? Will a young lion raise his voice if he did not already capture something? Can a bird fall into a trap if she doesn't have a trap? Can a trap come up from the land if it has not caught something? Can a trumpet or a shofar, here I'm talking to the man from shofar. Here's our word, shofar. can it be blown in the city, but without the entire nation being shuddering from fear or take alarm?
Right. He's asking these questions over and over and over. The obvious answer to all of them is no. That's
right. These things definitely happen. And the most important thing is here, just like all of these things happen for sure, if something bad will happen in the city, Vadonai lo asa, did not God cause a misfortune? But of course, that's not enough. Did not God cause this misfortune because the people in the city are deserving of that misfortune? In other words, God is a just ruler and judge, and he will only cause misfortune if the people are deserving. Anyway, that is, one second. That is not the only thing that we can learn from that verse. But again, the most important thing that we can learn from that verse is you take the translations that you learn and learn from them, but recognize that a true Hebrew non-translation but source is really what we need. And don't only take a verse out of context, but recognize that you must learn it not only in context, but compare it to other verses all around the Bible that have that same verse, that same word, those same words.
That's very true. You have to take the Bible in. You have to take the Bible in its context.
My friend, we have less than a minute. I have another meeting coming in, but I wanted to remind you that we are meeting this coming Sunday. You are teaching at the symposium that Root Source and the Nathaniel Foundation are sponsoring. I'm not surprising you, am I?
No. That's a good reminder.
Very good. So prepare for that, and we will see you on Sunday.
Okay. Have a nice meeting with your friends.
And my regards and prayers for your wife, Peggy.
Thank you so much.